A Japanese mother watches her toddler stumble across the living room floor. He trips, falls hard, his face tightens, his eyes well up, and within seconds, he starts crying. Then he does something almost every child does instinctively. He looks up at his mother, waiting for rescue, waiting for comfort, waiting for help. But she doesn't rush over. She doesn't immediately pick him up or say, "It's okay." She simply watches. Calm, present, still. To most Western parents, this feels uncomfortable, maybe even cold, but to her, this tiny moment is not neglect. It's training. Not physical training, cognitive training, emotional training, independence training. And this is where things get interesting. Japan has consistently ranked among the highest IQ countries in the world for decades, not for one generation, not because of one lucky educational reform, across millions of children, year after year. And despite what many people assume, researchers don't believe the answer starts in school. It starts much earlier, long before math worksheets, long before homework, long before a child even learns to read. It starts in the smallest daily rituals: feeding, sleeping, talking, carrying, bathing, waiting. The invisible habits most people never think twice about. In the next few minutes, I'll show you 4 parenting behaviors deeply rooted in Japanese culture that many researchers believe quietly shape sharper, calmer, and more capable children. Some of them are surprisingly simple. Others feel almost impossible to practice. The first habit is what the Japanese call skinship. It's a word with no perfect English translation, but the idea is simple: emotional closeness built through constant physical contact. In Japan, babies are held constantly, carried against the body instead of being left in strollers for long periods. Many mothers co-sleep with their children, sometimes until 6 or 7 years old. Bathing together is common. Touch isn't occasional. It's built into daily life. Now here's where Western parenting culture often gets this backwards. In many countries, parents are warned that too much holding creates dependency, that too much closeness makes a child clingy, that sleeping near your child prevents independence. But several studies suggest the opposite may be true. Infants who receive consistent physical affection in early development often show lower cortisol levels, stronger emotional regulation, and better resilience to stress later in life. In simple terms, physical closeness appears to help build a more stable nervous system. And honestly, Japan isn't unique for this. Many traditional cultures across Asia, Africa, and Latin America have always practiced close physical caregiving. What makes Japan fascinating is the contradiction. This is one of the most technologically advanced countries on Earth. A nation known for robotics, automation, hyper-efficiency, and futuristic cities. Yet inside the home, with babies, they still protect something ancient, something primal, something deeply human. They modernized almost everything except attachment. The second habit is their relationship with food. In many Western homes, a baby's first foods are intentionally bland: rice cereal, applesauce, sweet purees. Soft foods designed to be neutral, easy, and familiar. In Japan, it's often very different. Babies are introduced to savory, nutrient-dense foods early: soft fish, miso broth, tofu, seaweed, steamed vegetables, mild fermented flavors, small portions of real food. This matters more than most people realize. The human brain is nearly 60% fat, and one of the most critical nutrients for infant brain development is DA, an omega-3 fatty acid heavily found in seafood. Japanese diets are naturally rich in it. Several long-term studies have linked higher DA intake during pregnancy and infancy with better language development, stronger motor coordination, and improved cognitive performance in later childhood. But I don't think this is just about one nutrient. I think it's something deeper. Japanese babies are introduced to complexity early, not just sweetness, not just easy flavors. Their palate is challenged from the beginning. Bitter, umami, salty, subtle textures. This doesn't just affect the brain, it shapes discipline, adaptability, and long-term eating behavior. Their first experience with food is not entertainment, it's nourishment. The third habit might sound small, but its impact is enormous. Japanese parents tend to speak to babies like they are already intelligent, not like they're incapable of understanding. In many households, adults naturally slip into exaggerated baby talk, high-pitched voices, simplified vocabulary, repetitive nonsense sounds. And to be fair, some forms of melodic speech can actually support language learning, but Japanese parenting often takes a different route. There's a style of communication where parents narrate daily life in full, natural language. We're washing your hands now. The weather is cold today. I'm cutting vegetables for dinner. The baby may not respond, but that's irrelevant. The child is absorbing patterns. Vocabulary, sentence structure, tone, context. One of the most influential findings in child development is that the number of words a child hears before age 3 strongly predicts later academic performance. Language exposure isn't just about vocabulary, it's cognitive architecture. Every sentence is data. Every conversation is neural stimulation. The Japanese approach is powerful because it combines warmth with respect. They don't talk down. They don't assume the child is mentally absent. They assume the child is already listening. And honestly, this might be the most accessible habit on this list. It costs nothing. No expensive toy. No app. No course. Just intention. You speak to your child as if their brain is already under construction. Because it is. Now we get to the final habit. The one I personally think is the hardest by far. Japanese children are given responsibility shockingly early, not symbolic responsibility. Real responsibility. If you've ever seen the Japanese show My First Errand, you know exactly what I mean. Tiny children, sometimes barely over 2 years old, are sent on real errands alone. Walking to stores, carrying groceries, delivering items, navigating streets. To many outsiders, it feels unbelievable, sometimes terrifying. But this isn't just television. It reflects a much broader parenting philosophy. In Japan, children are expected to participate early, putting away shoes, carrying bags, pouring water, cleaning up after themselves, helping set the table, folding simple clothes, doing things slowly, imperfectly, independently. This is where many parents struggle. Because helping is easier, faster, cleaner. Watching a toddler take 3 full minutes to put on one shoe is almost physically painful. Every instinct says, "Let me do it. Let me speed this up. Let me save you the frustration." But that frustration is the process. Researchers tracking children over decades found that early household responsibility strongly predicted later life success, even more reliably than IQ scores or family income. Why? Because responsibility trains executive function, planning, sequencing, patience, problem-solving, delayed gratification, competence, and maybe most importantly, it builds identity. A child who is constantly helped learns dependency. A child trusted with real tasks learns something radically different. I am capable. That belief changes everything. So when that Japanese mother watches her child fall and doesn't immediately intervene, she's not being emotionally distant. She's doing something much harder. She's tolerating discomfort. His discomfort and her own. She's allowing a tiny struggle to happen because she understands something most people forget. Growth rarely looks pleasant in real time. The truth is, highly capable children are not usually being micromanaged into brilliance. They are being trusted into it. Held closely, fed intentionally, spoken to respectfully, challenged gradually, not overprotected, not overstimulated, not endlessly entertained. Just trusted. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Intelligence isn't only built through flashcards, tutoring, or educational toys. Sometimes it's built in quieter ways. In the pause before helping. In the conversation during dinner. In the choice to let a child struggle just a little longer. Not because you don't care, but because you do. And the beautiful part is, none of this requires a complete cultural transformation. You don't need to become Japanese. You don't need to copy everything. You can borrow what works. Maybe tonight, you hold your child a little longer. Maybe tomorrow, you let them do one small task alone. Maybe at breakfast, you speak to them like their mind is already awake. Because it is. And often, the smartest thing a parent can do is simply stop underestimating how much their child is already capable of becoming.